Sydney Sweeney just unveiled a new look, and I have to say I'm not a big fan. I just wanted to start off this topic by showing you her new F-ass bob that she's sporting at the premiere of Christy. This is the Christy Martin biopic in which she stars as this iconic female boxer. She's just, this hair is not good for anyone. Not trying to hate on Sydney Sweeney. I am hating on the hairstyle though. No woman looks better with a bob. I'm just gonna put it out there. If you disagree, please argue to the contrary. But every woman looks better with longer hair. No, I mean, you can be attractive and get a bob or a pixie cut and you can look attractive after, but that's the exception, not the rule. And you're gonna look better with long hair.
I was actually, I think Neve Campbell in Scream 2 with the hair that was to here. I do think it was better.
You think she looks better with that than with long hair?
It might have been more just because of the time of the year. And I might be thinking more of like the still images rather than what it looked like in motion, if that makes sense. If that makes sense.
And in real life, I'm sure.
Yes.
So Sydney Sweeney also was featured as one of Variety's Powerful Women. They do this every year. They have a Variety Powerful Women Summit, and they list
the offshoot of the Women's Summit that's going on somewhere right now.
Right. There's always a Women's Summit, and Sydney Sweeney was named as one of the most powerful women of 2025. They published a longer interview with her to commemorate that. Sydney Sweeney on Bond Girl Rumors, Oscar contender Christy, and defying the sex symbol label. You shouldn't have to hide or cover up in any room. In any room?
I'm guessing you disagree with that.
In any room? That's a big statement. Any room? You shouldn't have to cover up in a church?
She is becoming, this is leaning into the feminism of sex positive feminism, which is like, I should be able to dress however I want, whenever I want. And the reality of the world should have no should have no impact on me.
Yeah, that's
that's
insane.
When it comes to the idea of her as a Bond girl.
We'll get to that later. But I mean, just the thing is, the backlash against sex symbols is literally what gives sex symbols their power. So for her to say that is just, I don't know. I find that to be a very stupid statement. But anyway, here's the part that stood out to me the most. There's a lot of discourse about actresses in their 20s who are getting extensive work done on their faces, Selena Gomez included. And Sydney Sweeney has been no exception to that discourse. A lot of people have suspected that she has work done, that she has fillers or BOTOX or plastic surgery. There's
a poll I just put up, Sydney Sweeney with an FS bob, good or bad?
Yeah, I want to know, what's the verdict? And they addressed the pressure that actresses in their 20s face to get work done in Hollywood. She says that this was even true in her teen years when she was not yet mainstream and she was still going to auditions frequently. Good genes notwithstanding, Sydney Sweeney never skated through an audition back when she was a rural Idaho teen trying to break into Hollywood. She said, I have very strong eyebrow muscles, and I had someone tell me to fix my face or else I'm not going to make it, that I should get BOTOX. I was 16. They were telling a 16-year-old to get BOTOX in an audition.
This is my the 16-year-old part. The 16-year-old part I disavow, and I think that's extremely damaging to tell a child because they're not adult. But when it comes to like them telling adults like to get work done, I don't mean to sound callous, but most of the time these are people that know the harsh reality of the industry they work in and they're giving you advice. And the ones that prove them wrong doesn't disprove the general rule of the industry.
Okay, but I'll say...
But you should not be telling children that.
Telling an actor to get BOTOX is always bad advice. And it's because it literally impairs their ability to emote.
I think
that is always bad advice.
They're making movies now where you're not even supposed to be looking at the screen. They're like, we're going to be telling you to describe what's happening on camera anyway, so it doesn't even matter.
If you care at all about the quality of the performance, no, actors should not have BOTOX. It paralyzes the muscles in your face. It's self-explanatory that that's bad for their job. And
I think most of the time when they're getting that advice,
pretty unnerving.
Like as crappy as it seems, like most of the time what they're telling you is the reality of the matter. This is what happens. This is what the women in your industry are doing. You're going to be competing with 35-year-olds who look like they're 20 because they're freezing their facial muscles and stuff like that. So they're when they say like they told them to get it done, they make it sound like they callously said this to them, when most of the time what you're getting is some producer who's just giving you the advice.
Well, most of the time, actually, it's stories that took place 15 to 20 years ago where an actress is told that she needs to lose 10 pounds. It's not related to cosmetic
There's a 20
work.
there.
Jose Quintana said, "Happy Monday, Overlord and Ghost Empress. Regarding Neve Campbell, she was gorgeous in The Craft. I'm on my way to see Chainsaw Man this evening. Selena Gomez looks hideous. Empress, you are timeless. Long live PCC." There's a lot going on there. Hope you have fun seeing the Chainsaw Man. So I think that usually those stories are told, those sob stories are told about actresses who are told to lose weight for a role, not told to get cosmetic surgery or fillers or Botox. And by the way, those 35-year-old actresses don't look 20 just because they have Botox. They just look 35 and devoid of emotion. I don't think it's actually the de-aging hack that they think it is. And certainly for a 16-year-old, that's insane.
Yes, it is.
To say. Then they addressed people who are scrutinizing pictures of Sydney Sweeney, searching for signs of cosmetic work. She claims, "I've never gotten anything done. I'm absolutely terrified of needles. No tattoos, nothing. I'm going to age gracefully." It's really funny. I'll see things online like comparison pictures. I'm like, I'm 12 in that photo. Of course I'm going to look different. I have makeup on now and I'm 15 years older. So I think it's quite shocking, actually, that Sydney Sweeney, if she's telling the truth, has not gotten any work done since getting famous in Hollywood. She's 28 now. That's usually well after the point when actresses start the regimen of regular fillers in their chin, their cheekbones, their lips, rhinoplasties, eyebrow lift. I mean, you could go down the list. So I think it's a good thing that she's commenting on it. The fact that she doesn't plan to.
It is a fact of the industry that certain type of looks go in and out of styles. So when they're giving you advice on what to do, it's callous. It's probably not in the best interest of your actual health and well-being, but you've chosen an industry that in general isn't good for your health or your well-being.
However, I'm just calling it now. When Sydney Sweeney is 45 and she looks way younger than 45, which is probably going to happen, she's going to tell you that it's like lemon water.
Yeah.
She's going to tell you that it's...
Yeah, I get a lot of sleep. I get 8 hours of sleep a night.
Yeah, I just have this like really special like snail mucus moisturizer, and it's magic. It's just like I wake up and I look like a newborn baby. And they all lie. Lindsay Lohan, of course, like got this extreme facelift and told everyone that it's because she like eats yams. Like I can't with these people. Now they turn their attention in this conversation to why Sydney Sweeney seems to be followed by such a circus of discourse constantly. One theory is that people are not able to separate Sydney Sweeney from the roles that she plays.
I mean, that seems to be an ongoing... I seem to be having that discussion with more and more people these days about actors in general, that there really are just some absolutely insane people out there that can't separate these people from the... Like, it's weird because our job is literally to separate, you know, the stupid things they say with everything else. I'd like to think that I actually love to go into a movie with somebody who I love going into a John Leguizamo movie and coming out liking it because I know he's an idiot, but that doesn't mean he's not good at his job.
Well, I think a lot of people do assume that Sydney Sweeney is a stupid hoe because she plays a stupid hoe in Euphoria. Well, but she has other roles where she doesn't play a stupid hoe at all, and no one associates her characters with her real personality when that happens.
Maybe it's because it's like Vince McMahon in WWE. He was at his best when he was playing evil Vince McMahon because it's closest to his actual personality.
Okay.
Maybe. I'm just saying maybe.
So here's what she says about that. The term sex symbol. I play a lot of very divisive characters. I think a lot of people think they know me, but they don't. So when people think, oh, she's a sex symbol or she's leaning into that, I'm like, no, I just feel good and I'm doing it for myself and I feel strong.
It's the commercials that does that for her more than the movie roles, though.
And I hope that I can inspire other women to be confident and just flaunt what they've got and feel good, because you shouldn't have to apologize or hide or cover up in any room. That's like super like 80s to 90s to 2000s girl power feminism of her.
2000s.
I mean, it was around before that too.
But I think at the height of it would have been, you know, Christina Aguilera's like, you should be able to shoot the dirty music video and
no one can say anything
no one can
about
say
it.
anything else.
Like, come on. You wouldn't be Sydney Sweeney if it weren't for the backlash.
Yep.
Be grateful for it. And then they move on to talk about the rumored role of the Bond girl, as they still have not announced the next James Bond. There are rumors about who's going to be the next Bond girl.
I did a video, as a matter of fact, that came out today at 10 in the morning. You should watch it after this video, where I got into the minutia of like how the Bond money is funneled around and how it's very esoteric. But the backlash and the problem I have with it is they were leaking the idea that, do you know who the bad guy is going to be in the next James Bond movie? It came out in this article about Tom Holland. Supposedly there's a new contract. Tom Holland signed a new Spider-Man contract, therefore he cannot play James Bond. Probably looking to prevent, probably trying to prevent what happened with Henry Cavill and Superman and in Mission Impossible. But they're like, AI is going to be the bad guy. Ah! Fuck you! Nobody wants that! I think that was my general consensus.
So Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning.
It's like, we can't think of anything fucking interesting. So, you know who the villain's gonna be? It's gonna be like James Bond, you know. Blofeld's gonna have like deep fakes of James Bond committing crimes.
No, it's gonna be a deep fake of James Bond using a butt plug.
M is gonna be like, he's gonna get fake orders from MI6 on a video conference from a deep fake M. That would be so 2025.
I hate that. Well, maybe the villain's gonna be Sydney Sweeney.
I
have no idea what the source is.
She's not a good enough actress to play a villain. She could play a Bond girl. In fact, she wouldn't even necessarily play the main Bond girl. She could play like the Bond girl that he just has sex with.
The Bond side hoe?
The side hoe that he has sex with but doesn't actually have anything to do with the story.
She's in the movie for maybe like 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Well, Variety did not provide a source for this claim, but they reported that Jeff Bezos himself wants Sydney Sweeney to be the next Bond girl. And of course, he is the decision maker in charge of this franchise now. They say that Jeff Bezos reportedly they put it in a very like cryptic way. Sydney Sweeney could hit far-flung locations by playing a Bond girl, something Amazon founder Jeff Bezos reportedly wants very much to happen. She did attend his wedding to Lauren Sanchez in June, and the trio are tangentially in business together on Sydney Sweeney's new lingerie line.
Some weird shit going on behind the scenes there.
When asked if there's any truth to the Bond rumors, Sydney Sweeney unravels. She replies, "I can't." 7-second pause. "I don't know." 10-second pause. To be honest, I don't know all the Bond rumors, but I've always been a huge fan of the franchise. Don't believe it. And I'm excited and curious to see what they do with it.
Given the fact that she's clearly always wanted to be involved in Hollywood, and she played a lot of, like you said, she was in MMA before, like she seems to have enjoyed a lot of male-centric hobbies. Okay. So I can actually believe that she liked James Bond more so than I would believe like Zendaya being like, oh yeah, I love James Bond. I always wanted to be a Bond girl. I don't believe that. But I could believe Sydney Sweeney, especially given the fact that she does lean into the idea of being a sex symbol in the way that classic Bond girls did. I could buy that.
Okay, I mean, I believe that maybe happened in the last 5 years. Not that she's always been like such a fan. But they asked her if she would be interested in the role. As she mulls the possibility, she regains her composure and answers, "It depends on the script. I think I'd have more fun as James Bond." Sydney Sweeney wants to play the gender-swapped Jane Bond. Confirmed.
Well, that's the worst thing she's ever said.
And Jeff Bezos is going to give her what she wants.
Yep. Jamie Bond.
Yeah.
Janelle Bond.
Then they get into her new biopic of Christy Martin, the female boxer. I didn't know this about the story, but apparently Christy Martin had an abusive husband. And it was this interesting juxtaposition between her being a fighter in the ring, and that being her profession. And then when she's in the privacy of her own home, she is the victim, and she is not able to fight back. So Sydney Sweeney in this role is being like praised. There's like Oscar buzz. There was a huge standing ovation at Venice, I believe, or maybe TIFF.
By the way, you can tell how good a movie is by like working in reverse. If a movie gets a 15-minute standing ovation, it's dog shit.
Because everyone's just like peer pressuring.
The longer the standing ovation, the better chances that the movie is absolute ass. By the way, I'm just going to push back on these people trying to bully me in the chat who are using Denise Richards as a Bond girl as an example of why Sydney Sweeney could be a great Bond girl. The point is, though, is that Denise Richards as Dr. Christmas Jones, the most unrealistic nuclear physicist in the history of the world, is still dunked on today. So your point makes no sense because most people, unless you're me and you're just being a contrarian, they don't actually like that. They think she was bad in the role. So, checkmate.
Checkmate, bro. Well, regarding
owned with facts and logic.
Regarding the Christy Martin story.
Yes, continue. Oh, also somebody. So you were saying earlier that you read something where it's like she did MMA when she was a kid. She started training.
Oh, yeah,
because they said she was doing jujitsu. She was doing all sorts of different martial arts disciplines when she was younger.
The director of Christy said that he was impressed that she was like a competitive MMA fighter from the age of 12.
And you're just like, what?
Huh?
It's like when I told you.
What does that even mean?
It's like when I told you there was a time we were doing pre-show prep and I was like, she was part of her high school robotics team. You're like, that's not real.
Yeah. Like
no, she wasn't.
I'm sorry. How does that even work? You're a competitive 12-year-old MMA fighter? What does that mean?
Yeah.
Literally, what does that mean? Anyway, they dropped this really cryptic detail buried in the end of the interview about the Christy Martin story, because she's of course playing a victim of domestic violence. I think it's finally making sense to me why the proceeds from her American Eagle jeans were donated to a domestic violence nonprofit. I thought that was kind of random and didn't make much sense at the time. But here is what Sydney Sweeney said in regard to Christy. It's a very personal issue that's important to me, and I hope that through Christy and her story, it can raise more awareness. Sweeney says this without elaborating on how the legacy of domestic violence has touched her. It's personal, she repeats, her blue eyes flashing pain. And she has also selected the National Center on Domestic and Sexual Violence as her charity. I guess that's going to be like her cause, her pet cause. Weird to just kind of throw that in there, just like sprinkle in that detail.
What's her ex-fiance's name? Jonathan Divino. He's sweating bullets right now.
They're essentially trying to say that she's a victim of domestic violence without going into detail, and then that raises a bunch of questions about how and when that happened and who was the perpetrator. She's obviously not willing to elaborate on it any further, but her ex-fiance, Jonathan Divino, could be facing some allegations in the future, given that information.
I mean, it's not like she's the only guy she's ever dated.
I know, but it was the longest relationship. She was with him from the age of 18 until 27. So it's, right? Like, she's probably implying that it's him. Just a weird thing that they included there. And it was weird that they wrote it in such an artful way. Like, her blue eyes flashing in pain. Like, what? Like, it's not cute. It's not like she's not a movie character. Like, that's her real life. Maybe you just shouldn't include that. I also saw rumors that Sydney Sweeney is getting shit from her friends for dating Scooter Braun at the moment.
He's just
in a
he's
confirmed
just a chill guy.
public relationship. Sydney Sweeney's pals are concerned over her new romance with music's most hated figure, Scooter Braun, but she insists he's a chill guy. He's just got his thumbs in his pockets. He's unassuming. He's just a chill, nice dude.
He's the Kevin James of billionaire music producers.
Sydney is saying it's nobody's concerned, having fun, and people got it wrong because Scooter is a cool, chill-out guy. But friends say he's a wolf in sheep's clothing, and you only have to look at his past to see that.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, she's dating him for the street cred, obviously.
Yeah.
There's no other explanation for that.
Or maybe she's got a music career on deck as well.
Yeah, do you think she's one of these many celebrity actors who are somehow able to sing and are really eager to show their singing skills?
I hope not.
I
It's better
don't
if
think
she
so.
doesn't sing. I want her to be like, nah, I want you to dub it, and it better be the best voice you've ever heard.
I like that she's not a former Disney kid.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.